things. And we'll see what happens.
Now let's just go all the way down.
Our community has to have leadership at the local level, at the state level, and at the national level to allow and let Congress know, and also whatever participation our government, our federal government has in global forums to ensure that we're protected. It is unfortunate that these environmental issues are impacting us. We, as Linda has stated, we are at ground level. There's not much room. We dig in our backyard, and we can get water come up immediately. So I think that congressional leadership, federal leadership, and state leadership is important, and it has to start at the local level.
Well, I'm someone who believes very much that this is happening, that it is going to happen, and I believe it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I happen to believe that the ice is melting, and I do watch very carefully to what's happening to the polar bears, and I'm very concerned about it, and I think it's going to affect us right here. I went through Andrew. I saw what happened. I lived in Saga Bay. I saw my own house be completely flooded up to here. So I know that we live in an area that can be flooded at any time, and I know what can happen with a hurricane, and I know that it's not just going to take a hurricane. So I think we need to be very cognizant of that, and I do believe that we don't need to wait for technology. I believe that we need to, at every point, protect our environment. We need to protect our water supply, because sea level water rise is going to affect our water supply. And water is going to be the main issue that's going to take us to the next war. It's not going to be oil. So water is essential, and I think we need to protect it. We have water in the Everglades. We have a precious resource. Let's protect it. Let's watch out for the seawater rise, and let's do everything we can. Let's bring in the technology. Let's bring in everybody that we can, but let's also fight for the federal funding necessary to do that.
County commissioners, including Katie, appointed me to the Climate Change Task Force, which is a very interesting board. A lot of great work being done. I have a general objection to the board in that most of what we're doing is based upon fear of catastrophes. And yes, you do have to respond when there's a catastrophe. But when it's a slow motion catastrophe, like this one may be, we need to lead by being positive. You can only truly be as bold as we need to be now if we're trying to do something good rather than avoid something bad. And I want to give you an example of the kind of stuff that I think we should be doing here in the county. It's something that we're already doing at our house. By the way, you're invited to come to our house. We have monthly tours. I keep talking about it. So the issue is carbon. We're releasing too much carbon into the atmosphere.
Is this related to sea level?
Yes. That's why sea level rise is happening. Global warming is resulting from carbon in the atmosphere. We're looking for a way to take that carbon and get it out of the atmosphere back into the ground. Well, in Miami-Dade County, we have a lot of trees doing that every day, turning it into woody waste. So what we do is we create charcoal on our site. We have bonfires, right? You burn it down to the point where you're down to coals, you now have charcoal. You can take that, grind it up, and put it into your soil as a soil amendment. And if we do it on the scale of a county, you can sell those credits into the international carbon market, which means our waste problem in terms of woody waste becomes a potential source of income. That's the kind of stuff we need to be talking about.
All right. So you're aware, by the way, why we're trying to jump around a little bit is we got a note saying it was unfair to constantly go back and forth and have some folks in the middle not take first crack. So that's why we're doing it. Now, a question from Edward Escobar. A number of you mentioned not mandating picking a winner would you be in favor of mandating a percentage of energy be produced by alternative sources so innovation can flourish and the best tech will come out on top? Sure. And Edward, if I'm butchering your question, then please feel free to help me with it. A number of you mentioned not mandating picking a winner. Would you be in favor of mandating a percentage of energy be produced by alternative sources so innovation can flourish? We started with you last time, right? Today.
Well, I wasn't one of the ones that talked about mandating, I think that we need to invest in renewable energy, and I think that all kinds of different sources need to be invested in. I certainly am favorable towards certain ones, but I don't think that I would necessarily pick one over another one or a winner. I don't know how I necessarily feel about picking a winner or mandating things. I think that that's a little strong. I think we need to try different things. This is new technology. We need to try new technologies. We need to invest in them. We need to get funding from the federal government, from the state government. We need to do tax incentives as well so that we can definitely help our homeowners. Like I said, I talked about retrofitting their homes.
Why don't we just go that way then?
Well, you know, sometimes folks say, well, it's bad to mandate, but let's talk about a mandate. South Florida Building Code. Is it good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's a mandate. So mandate sometimes is not necessarily evil, okay? So we have to understand what we're doing here. If we say, okay, let's put solar power, which is nothing new, it's also something old, okay? Okay, let's use solar power as a mandate because we will get a lot of energy sources out of it, okay? That's a good mandate. That's something that would work. Now, what can we do? Okay, the South Florida Building Code, by the way, is being attacked, and we need to defend, make sure that we keep it, because we have all lived the experience of Andrew, and we don't want that to happen again. So, in terms of this mandate, you know, we have to understand exactly what's good and what's bad, because not necessarily all mandates are evil.
Just go ahead.
You know, I think we do that in many places already, and we kind of self-mandate. Like I take a look at our municipality, and we do self-mandate. And when we have developers that come in, we want to provide incentives so that they can have a greener building. When they come in and they build, we want them to put the power lines underground. There are certain things that we want to do to make it more advantageous. So we kind of do that now already. So would I be in favor of mandating a certain percentage of some type of green renewable energy? I think I would be okay with that, but I think that we would have to take a look and make sure, because remember, anytime you're building, whether you're building a house, no matter what, if there is a great increase in cost, that's going to be passed on to the consumer, and the consumer is the home buyer. People are having a very tough time right now. So I think while I might be in favor of a mandate, I'd have to analyze the mandate, what percentage of the total development would have to be green, what type of renewable energy of their source. And so I think that we would have to take a look at it and analyze it. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but just to provide a blanket, absolutely yes or absolutely no, you have to take a look at what is the percentage, what is the preference to renewable energy, what type of renewable energy, and what would be the focus on residential, on commercial, and I think it would work very well. I think commercial is a good place to start. Kind of like we did in Homestead. You start with the commercial, you set the example, and then you pass it on. I mean, we have a mandate right now, a percentage of everybody's fuel that they put in their gas tank is already 10% ethanol. So we already have that. So it wouldn't be inconsistent with what's already happening. Thank you.